of our brothers and sisters around this wonderful world that you created together. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Join me for the pledge. And the four-way test. One more quick thing. I got a true confession time. I took some orders for Rotary shirts a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, the shirts are in. My confession is I didn't think about notifying any of you until I drove in the parking lot today. So if you have your $20, I've got a shirt for you. They're up in this box, and I'll be up in the front here at the end of the meeting. If you don't have your $20, I'm going to send you an email, and we can settle up next week. Okay? Paying online and designated is not the favorite thing of our account.
Thank you, Tom. Also, thank you, Aaron, for noticing that we were still muted, and sorry, and thanks to those at home. And I hope some of you are good lip readers. Okay. Rob Leroy, thank you for pinch hitting. And by the way, thanks. I got several offers to come in and help. Thanks for the emails this morning. And Rob was the first one and pointed out he even came with experience. So that was great. So thanks. Okay, we do not have any visiting Rotarians today. We do have two guests. Brian Baylor will be here presenting for a moment in regards to grant. And Ron Ringenberg has a guest. Welcome, welcome all guests, and David too. We're excited and we'll be reviewing your application, make sure everything, all the I's are crossed and T's are dotted and all that good stuff that we like to do. Also want to just point out everyone online. We've got Carlos, Connie, someone with an iPhone 3, Jan Farron, Jason Pippinger, Jessica Burbrink, Paul Gardner, Randy Foster, Steve Eldridge, Tina Weldy. Thank you for joining us online. And we're glad that you could be here today. So thank you for that. Okay, if you have an announcement, come forward. And while others are coming forward, I'll just make a note that next Monday, we'll be hearing a presentation from Goodwill Industries about the new Excel Center, which is actually very exciting. It's a really cool thing. So we'll be hearing from them on that. Also, I have an announcement that I wanted to share that was passed to me from Scott Puckett. And this is from Bill Bonning, the financial advisor with Edward Jones Investments, who is with a fellow Rotary Club. Thank you, Scott Puckett. I should have had you come up here for this. Are you okay with me finishing it? So Bill Bonning is the president of the Goshen Rotary Club and wants to let everyone know that their club is taking a train trip to the Henry Ford Museum in Michigan on August 5th and 6th. Jamie Stickle owns a train car, and they're taking that. They've got a couple of spots available to go on Thursday the 5th and 5 spots on Friday the 6th. And Bill wants to know if anyone in our club might be interested in going with us. It's $150 a person, but on a private train car to go to the Ford Museum? That sounds like a pretty sweet deal. So if you would like information on that, I'll send this out as an email through Club Runner, but you can respond directly to Bill or ask me about that if you're interested. Again, that's August 5th and 6th. Susan Ginther.
Since we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, we're going to do the addresses for Guatemala again, and also support the new school in Chippewa. And there will be an opportunity for you to sign up. We're going to do this a little bit differently. There are going to be kits available. So if you want to take them home, you can do that. And you or someone that you know. We had several people contribute dresses last year that were not members of the club 2 years ago, sorry. I can tell you that the facility where we live in Arizona, we contributed 150 dresses last year. 50 went to Haiti, 50 stayed in the area for Easter dresses at a mission in Phoenix, and 50 went to go home. So more details to follow, but it will be in the September window meeting with the district. Thank you.
I'm Don Stoller, by the way. Some of you have received an email from me recently. It really wasn't from me, asking for me to buy an Amazon card and send it. Please, if you get an email from me, it's better to just delete it. Call me up or text me. Sorry for the inconvenience. If you want to know how this happened afterwards, I'll be happy to share it. I think I will.
Let that be a note, all emails from Don Stoller, just delete.
Some of you may remember Robert J. Morris. Bob, as we would know him, and his friends knew him as Bob. Bob died in December. There was a funeral on the 11th of December. I couldn't make it that particular day. But we did, my wife and I did go to the memorial last Saturday. Bob joined Rotary here in this club in 1986 and left the club in 2000. So he was a member for 14 years. Bob was by profession an engineer. He had many interests. The memorial lasted about an hour and a half. That gives you an idea of how many people spoke about his interests. One of his interests had to do with photography. And we were told last Saturday that he had won 5 national awards with photography. Belonged to a club here in Elkhart County. Maybe some of you were involved with that. I don't know. There were a number of Goshen Rotarians that were involved and others. And it was not unusual for them to go 400 or 500 miles, 3 or 4 days to take pictures. Spots that they knew would garner very good photography. Bob was unique in many ways, really. He had a liking for black and white photography. And Bob, one of the men that was a member of that club with him, spoke to us on Saturday saying that they had gone somewhere. I don't remember where it was. I'm not sure that he even said what state it was in, but I figured it was some distance away. Bob found a place and he sat. 6 or 8 others, they were taking pictures, moving around, taking pictures. The fellow that told the story last Saturday said that he had taken 75 shots even before the first hour. Bob was just sitting. Well, this went on for quite some time. Lots of times Bob knew that the light was going to be right. He set up his tripod, then he set up his timer on the camera for 5 minutes. When they all got back home and had some of them developed, they had a little judgment, a little contest. I don't know that there was any awards. Others had taken 5 or 10 that they had showed during that whole trip off just one picture. It was the one that they all judged was the best. 2 of Bob's pictures are framed black and white in the Lerner Theater. So, Bob was president and founder, I think, of Italian Plastics. It had good many interests. The thing that was, I thought, unique about his memorial, they played his favorite song, Blueberry Hill. Remember that? Fats Domino, 1956. Wabash Cannonball, being from Terre Haute, that's very dear to my heart. Boxcar Willie, 1980. And maybe the favorite, Orange Blossom Special by Johnny. Let's remember, Bob Ford.
Hello, everybody. So just a few things going on. First of all, just by a show of hands, I'm trying to put together an event where we would have a social time and go to a South Bend Cubs game. So if you are interested in doing that in the next month or so, could you please raise your hand or stand up? All right, great. And then also, you'd be able to bring a friend or a spouse or something like that as well. Also, if you have led an invocation at all in the past year, so you led the invocation, the pledge, the four-way test, would you please stand? You have led an invocation in the past year. So first of all, thank you to all of you. Let's give them a round. Thank you very much. So one of my jobs is that I look for people to lead the invocation, the pledge, and the four-way test. Now, I know that some of you don't like to speak in front of people, so don't make eye contact. Pete Norton always says that. So I will be lining up people to do the invocation. Did I say convocation? Invocation for the next 12 months. So I'm in order to help Eric out in his term as president. So when you see me coming, please don't start running. Okay. How many of you, by show of hands, know how to read? Come on. All right, there's 12. So I can help you out with the invocation, even providing it for you. So, I like to mix it up a little bit, and sometimes I'll pick a theme, but we want to really get things jazzed up this year. And then also I will be still heading up the caring committee. So I'll be looking for things like how many of you have a birthday? How many of you are working and had something great happen at work? How many of you have grandbabies or babies and things to celebrate? So we just want our, and not just about what happens here every Monday, but about what's going on in your life. And I don't want it to all just be about someone is sick or has passed away. So there's many, many ways that we can care for each other. That's all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Fran. Thank you, Shannon. That was very nice. Appreciate that. Okay, we have, as we do each year, given away a pretty good amount of money for local not-for-profits. And today I would like to welcome up Brian Baylor from E3 Robotics Center. Brian is here and he'll give us just a quick few minutes on what our grant is doing for E3 Robotics and how the good support that we do is helping make our community a better place. Come on. You can.
Okay. Give me just a minute while I pull up some pictures.
I better if I'm teaching STEM, right? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Baylor. I am the director of the E3 Robotics Center here in Elkhart. And just to give you a quick overview, we've been doing robotics here locally since 1999. And in that time, we've worked with over 24 schools and youth programs to help establish their robotics programming. So if you've ever heard about, any Lego robots or high school robots or anything like that, we've probably in one way worked with that program or that school or organization before. This includes professional development training for over 150 teachers and 50 different local robotics events, kindergarten through 12th grade. And all of that has culminated in helping grow the local robotics programs 1,000% in 5 years. That was pre-COVID, of course, for everything going forward. And when COVID hit, that didn't stop us from doing a lot of things that we were working with robotics wise. We still created an impact from having our staff work with 2 international competitions where we had 70+ teams from around the world that would come and compete virtually, both in 2020 and this past spring in 2021. Our students and mentors were recognized at a state level across social media. And we even had our students, which would log in virtually once a week and work with us online, where we did 12 online classes ranging from CAD, public speaking, how to manage their time, and even resume building. But it wasn't all just virtual for us. We actually got to get back into the center and into the community this past spring and summer. That started with our K through 4th grade robotics. This came out of a Lego Foundation grant, actually, where we had 5 community partners here within Elkhart, impacting 360+ students, grades kindergarten through 4th grade. And for our center specifically, we were able to box up, you'll see here on kind of the far right side of the screen, kits for these students to use in one-to-one robotics that had a robot in their hand with a laptop that they could log in and get hands-on with STEM. And this is something we're actually looking to expand for the 2021-22 school year, where the Lego Foundation has come back and said, hey, we have more grants, we have more community partners. You did great with this. We want to continue to expand that. So we're looking right now at a couple other youth organizations and school systems that are looking to expand their robotics program to impact even more kindergarten through 4th grade students. And then this summer, we got to partner with the Elkhart Public Library and host 3 weeks of STEM camps for kindergarten through 8th grade students. Over 80 different students came through this program working on science, technology, and engineering and getting hands-on at the downtown library branch. And it was really exciting. I'm not sure the librarians were all on board when we had a bunch of kids there, but a lot of them were really excited that they were seeing a lot of people come back to the library, which was super wonderful to actually see kids in that space and the other clientele coming in and wondering, what is all this excitement? I've never seen this much excitement at the library before. And they were excited to have this back in there and have a lot of these things going on. But it wasn't just this summer and spring that we really did robotics. We adjusted what we were doing based off of COVID for this fall as well. And that included our 7th through 12th grade robotics, where the top 2 pictures up here show how our students were doing in the 2019 and 20 season, where not only they won the West Virginia State Championship in December of 2019, but then came back to Indiana and won 2nd place on the Inspire Award, which is the 2nd best award you can win within the state of Indiana, early in 2020 before their whole season got canceled. Then coming back this fall, all of their stuff was remote and virtual for the most part, as the bottom students here worked tirelessly on getting all this stuff kind of together. And the grants and the support really helped them build a robot in a virtual atmosphere and then build it in person so they could go to the Indiana State Championship and place 9th within the state this year as students coming back into that. And we even started new programs like our esports team. And it's not just playing video games. I know what everyone thinks. Oh, the kids are just there playing video games. We have a STEM aligned curriculum that teaches the students how video games relate to STEM-based career paths. And we work with them to not only manage their time between video games and real life, but also talk about mental and physical health, working in teams, problem solving, and more. This year, we had 15 students come into our program, and one of our students actually placed top 16 out of 1,000 in both the fall and spring competitive major tournaments. And we've also connected with 3 colleges that provide scholarships for students coming onto their esports collegiate team to pretty much pay for their education for that. And then finally, we had our high school robotics team, which during their build season of both 2020 and 2021 completely got canceled for them. But that did not stop them. They continued to work within the community. They were the ones teaching classes, mentoring the younger students virtually throughout those 2 seasons. And then a lot of those students, we have 20 now here in Elkhart County that are working for various STEM businesses. So 20 different students that have come out of our program are now taking that knowledge and skill set and working for those STEM businesses here. So we're very excited and proud for that. And then finally, this month, we were able to invite some of our former graduates and our new students coming on to the team as well, and go down to Indianapolis in the first competition that they've had in person for almost over 2 years. And they ended up being the winning alliance at that competition, which is super exciting. They were the only team to actually win an event this year, because that was the only event Indiana had. So we're extremely proud of all of their accomplishments across all of our programs that we have really worked hard with. And it is your guys' generosity from the Rotary, and I see a couple other sponsors here that have helped sponsor this program. That's what helps pave the way for our students to get that STEM education and bring it back here into the community and continue to foster those great STEM businesses that we grow. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Brian. That's great, and a great way to tell that story and connect it back here to Rotary and to the community. So thank you for being here today. And again, thanks everyone for your generosity throughout last year to be able to support these great not-for-profits. We'll hear from more of those as we go. Just to make sure, did I miss Deb Treesh in here by any chance? Did we miss her? Okay, we'll get her here to another meeting. And speaking of fines and money, Pete Norton, come on up and do quick work. Good, quick work.
The adoration, I feel it. Thank you so much. Both my children did robotics when they were in high school, and to this day, my daughter can still weld, and my son became a mechanical engineer because of it. And so robotics is really, it's a great learning experience for kids. So fully endorse. All right, fines. Well, my other Rotary hat, of course, is coordinating Thirsty Thursday. So if you've been to a Thirsty Thursday this year, please stand up. I know logistically it can be difficult. There's some people that tell me I just can't make it, it's too far away or work's in the way, and I understand. But if you haven't been to one this year, please put it out. So I was going to go with the Olympics as well. Tom MacArthur. What do you do? What? All right, let's have a little Rotary 101. What do you do when the sergeant calls your name, Tom? Yes. And lots of love and adoration for the sergeant, right? Okay, good. Well, I decided to pick the Olympics as my theme because I got contacted last night that can you sub? Yeah, I'll sub. So I picked the Olympics as well. And so for ruining one of my questions, $5. Thank you very much.
Excellent job subbing for the president. Somewhere there is I don't know, a drag show queen that's very upset because they can't find size 12 shoes. Yeah. So $2 for you and $1 for everybody at your table. Fran, I was going to fine you, but then when you gave me credit for the joke that I blatantly stole from one of my favorite comedians, you don't have to pay anything. So. All right, let's start back in the corner. Somebody back there at the corner table. Don't all jump to your feet at the same time. Okay, Olympics. When was the first original Olympic Games held? 786 BC, 776, 766. All those are BC. Yes, I know. For those of you at home, I think you can do the math. Yeah, I think you can do the math. So 86, 76, 66. Now you're wrong. That's $1 for everybody. It was 776 BC. Pretty amazing. Next table over, Anthony's table. Don't all jump to your feet at the same time. It's only an hour-long gig here. Okay, the ancient games, how often were they held? 4, 5, or 6 years? That's right. No fine for everybody. Next table over. Are you guys okay? I mean, really, this is not anything new here. And your whole table can kick here. All right. What year was the modern day Olympics restarted? 1896, 1886, 1876. Oh, that's right. No fine. You guys are not quick to your feet, but smarter than you look. All right, let's go to this table, Jim. Okay, let's see if you can get this one. This will be tough. What was the official motto of the Olympics? Pursuit of excellence, higher, faster, stronger together, or balance of body, mind, and will. The official motto. The original was in Greek. Yes, that's true. And since that was a gimme, you can all put $1 in the basket for that. Next table over. $10 for all of you. Todd? The Olympic rings are 5 different colors. What are the colors? Okay, no, that's $1 for everybody. Blue, yellow, black, green, and red. Next table over. Okay. The 5 Olympic rings represent what? What are the continents? Okay, you're almost right. That's $1 for everybody. Next table up. Is everybody tapped out? Oh, I feel good as a sergeant. And just so you know, the last one was Oceania. Oh, that's definitely gonna cost me next. At least the next time Pete's up there, or whoever's got a better memory. All right, let's get to today's speaker. Mandy Lazenby is going to give him a quick intro. And during that time, you're gonna stand right over here and speak. I'm gonna be looking in the camera and pulling up the presentation that we just through technology have got here. But keep in mind, this will be Mandy's voice with my face. This is awesome. I'll move my lips though, so it looks cool. That was some good ventriloquism right there. Hold on, we've almost got this thing loaded. Love it when it works. So we need to go back here. We need to, where's Brian Baylor when we need him? We need to share screen. I'm just gonna share the screen to make it easy. That way you're seeing everything here, folks. I think this still works. And then we're going to do this. Call that good. We're going to let everyone see what's going on.
Okay, thank you very much, Eric. Thank you, Mandy. I'm very pleased to be back here. I was here in 2010, and I think I was here a few years after that. It's been a little while. I weigh 10 pounds more. My hair has turned white, and I'm no longer with the university. But what I'd like to do is briefly share with you some information about some of the things that I've been engaged in and we've been doing over in South Bend. The story sort of starts with transformation that's happened in my life over the last 5 years since I was last here. Last time I was talking to you, I was talking to you about sustainability, the attempt to make everything we do ecologically friendly, socially inclusive, responsible, and economically sound, or what we sometimes refer to the triple bottom line. And I remember when I spoke the last time, how I really noticed how sustainability is really a strong overlap with the four-way test. Is it the truth? It's based on science. Is it fair to all concerned? It's socially inclusive and responsible and takes the planet into account as well. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? I think it does, because it creates a better planet for all of us and tries to bring us all together. And finally, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Sustainability is about, again, trying to create a better society, a better economy, a better planet for all of us. What happened is in 2016, I had finished helping to develop the Sustainability Studies program overnight in South Bend. And so I left the university to see if I could put into practice what I've been teaching for the last decade or more. When I left the university, I thought I was going to be a sustainability consultant, and I was going to help my partner, Dwayne Borkholder, on a Borkholder building, to create a new way to build homes that use as much energy as they use, but for the same price as conventional construction. The problem was that house was kind of like this phone was when it first started. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know how to use it. With Dwayne's home, people didn't know how to build it. They didn't know how to assess it. They didn't know how to sell it. So I thought, well, Dwayne, let's just build one in my neighborhood. And if you can't sell it for what it cost you to build, and I knew we couldn't because we had an appraisal gap in my neighborhood, I'll buy it because I can rent it out and get my return on investment for that single house. Well, then right around the corner from where we built those houses, we had a little local coffee shop. And the director there, Kathy Shue, said, hey, Mike, I know you want to build one house. How about if you build it on the lots that we own? This was the Near Northwest Neighborhood Organization, and they were about building homes. They had 3 lots. They said, well, yeah, we'll take those 3 lots, but now instead of 1 home, I'm going to have to build that I can't sell for what it's going to cost me. Now we got 3. But okay, you know, we can do that. Well, around the corner from where we were going to build those homes was this building here. Well, how can I build new houses on a couple of vacant lots if I got something like this sitting around the corner? And we were sitting in that coffee house, and the guy who owned us heard about what we were talking about. Said, hey, Mike, would you like to take on this building? Well, yeah, I guess we need to fix this up so we can get those houses going around the corner. Then next door, if I'm going to invest in fixing up that house or that building right there, the one looks next door, looks just like this. Guess we got to take that out. All of this, by the way, is within 3 blocks of where I live. So this is my neighborhood, this is my place, this is my town, or sometimes we call it our farm. We talk about small scale development, we farm because we're not there for a single project moving on. We're there for the rest of our lives, and we're committed to it because we live there. Then the tax sales start. And this is what South Bend looked like about 8 years ago. All those red lots are vacant lots that came from the 1,000 Houses in 1,000 Days that our former mayor Pete Buttigieg put together. So you can see that we had a lot of these places going on. So I picked up 7 of those in my neighborhood because they were full of junk. They were all overgrown. Nobody was taking care of them. So we started to take care of that. So here I was. I had left the university about 8 months before that. I had 3 houses I had to build, one mixed use I had to renovate, 7 vacant lots, and I didn't know how to do a spreadsheet. So I met a group called the Incremental Development Alliance. And this is a national organization whose job is to help people in neighborhoods build wealth in their neighborhoods and keep it in their neighborhoods. And their goal is to create 1,000 small scale developers around the country. And these are the people who are going to rebuild those inner city neighborhoods, right? The big developers are downtown and they're out in the exurban areas. But the rest of those, they're not interested in the neighborhoods around that because there's no scale there. So it's going to take the people who are already there. The people who are going to rebuild our cities are living in these neighborhoods as we speak. So I went to work with the incremental development. I got them to come to South Bend. We changed the zoning codes and we went to work. And the way it works is you start in your neighborhood one step at a time. Figure out a couple of things. What is my capacity? What are my resources? And what are my relationships? And what will the market bear in my neighborhood? In some cases, we have had people who start out, one of our leading family members, he started out 20 years ago by buying 10 tents for $60 a piece, putting them on a street that had a bunch of vacant lots on them, and renting them out on Saturday mornings to create a business going there. He now lives in a 12-unit complex above 5 mixed-use restaurants. It took him 15 years to do that. He started out with tents. The point is we can do this anywhere in any place, and anybody can start. You just have to figure out where you're at and what's the possibility. So I sometimes refer to myself as an accidental developer. I did not go to try to create become a developer. What I wanted to do was help build one house. And eventually, that one house became a neighborhood demonstration project. One of the first things that we talk about when we do this is clean, clean, clean. And so you might think that you're a developer, but quite frankly, I'm out there in my beat up jeans, my beat up pants. I'm edging the sidewalks. I'm cleaning up the yards. Whatever it is, make it look nice, make it look invested. It doesn't take a hell of a lot of money to clean up a lot. I've been telling the neighborhood, I put it on Facebook the other day, how would you like to lose weight, make your community safer, increase your property values, and save money on your gym membership? Come out and help me edge the sidewalks and clean up the neighborhood. Everybody likes the ideas, but I don't know how many are showing up. You can do the same thing. So the problem next door, we fix that up. And then one of the great things that happened is you begin to do this stuff, there's a certain karma that things come around. And so we were getting ready to build those 3 houses. We found out that Habitat for Humanity owned 4 vacant lots on the same triangle. And so when we went to talk to Habitat, they said, hey, Mike, would you like to buy those 4 lots? I said, I already got 3. You know, we'll teach you how to build our system for habitat families. And so it turns out that we got Habitat to build 5 of our houses. And that house right there was part of the Carter bill 2 years ago. And that house is a Habitat-owned house family. It is the highest performing house in the state of Indiana because they put geothermal in it. It not only produces as much energy as it uses, but it's overkill. It's got geothermal. There is not a house that is more higher performing in this state than what's owned by that Habitat family. And that's what we call socially inclusive, socially responsible, right? Ecologically friendly and economically sound. What is a more affordable house for somebody to live in than one which you have a utility bill of $20 a month? Well, this was the elephant in the farm. You know my neighborhood over near there, that's the old Ward Bakery building. Was owned and abandoned in 2011. Everything I own is within a block and a half of that building. And it turned out that our local neighborhood organization tried 6 years in a row to get tax grants to turn that into affordable housing. They couldn't make it happen. So what I said was we should tear it down. But one of the leaders of the incremental development alliance, when he was in town doing consulting for South Bend 3 years ago, said, Mike, this building is too busy, too beautiful to turn down. We've got to turn it into something else. So when the NNN didn't get us grant for the 6th time, I called up Monty and I said, Monty, are you in? He said, yeah. Well, guess what? Now I own that building as well. That's another piece that we've got to fix up. But little things can make a difference. We started in 2016, and little by little, those 5 Habitat houses, the 3 renovations we did, allowed us to just have built those. We built those, and we finished those about a month and a half, 2 months ago. Those are 2 tiny houses. They produce as much energy as they use. We put those in the St. Joe County Builder Show in May, and we won Best in Show. Those houses built out, they beat out $1.5 million lake houses. They produce as much energy as they use, and they're made out of materials that require any major repairs for 30 years. So what we're now looking at is our entire farm. It started out to be one house, has actually turned into what I call Portage into Town, a neighborhood development project. And what we can talk about is the impact. We started to do one house. And then it was kind of like Mission Creek, Dwayne Warpholder, you know, he's in it with me. And it's like, Dwayne, sorry about that. We were going to build one house, and now he's a partner in what amounted to be a 12 to 15-year plan that we're going to build out between now and 2030. But the thing about this is the impact. When we first started our project in 2016, all of the lots that we were going to be building on, and these are the ones that are colored in the various blues and purples, all of those lots that we owned or the county and city owned were paying $2,600 a year in taxes. 3.1 acres paying $2,600 a year in taxes. Why? Because of the neighborhood and vacant lots and undeveloped properties. Well, between 2016 and last year, we actually doubled the amount that those are going to pay. And this year, we're going to double them again with those 2 tiny houses. But the big power here is by 2030, when we're done with our project, we will, over a period of 15 years, invested $15.7 million, and we will have increased taxes from $2,600 on those 3 acres to $310,000. Those are like video game numbers. Now, the challenge is it didn't happen over here, but I defy any municipality in the country to get a better return on the dollar invested in bringing some people in, helping to do this on their tax. You know, usually what we do is bring in the big projects. You know, downtown South Bend, we're giving $9 million to a guy who's doing great work for a $40 million project. But the fact of the matter is, that's not as a big impact over time. And the great thing about it is we can help people in all our neighborhoods do this. You know what happened when COVID hit? In places like this, these folks don't leave because they live there. They don't shut down because this is their life. So what we would like to suggest is it takes an ecosystem, but the people are already in this ecosystem. So what we're arguing is that, yes, we need to take a look at downtown development. Yes, we need to take a look at development in the ex-urban areas. Yes, we need to try to attract the organizations with, you know, good jobs and big groups. But our biggest secret is in our neighborhoods right here. And we can find these folks. There are contractors, there are teachers, there are young professionals, there are realtors, there are engineers. These are the people that we can power up and support.
And while it takes a while for them to get going, and it's not sexy because you're not bringing in that big company with the big thing that's going to hit the newspaper. Imagine what happens if we start with 10 people like this and are able to do the same thing we're doing. Now we've got $100 million worth of tax increase, or investment, private investment over a period of 15 years. We can do this, and this is happening across the country. So thank you very much for the work that you do, and I appreciate this opportunity to give you an update of some of the things we've been doing over at South Bend. Okay, yes, Anthony?
Having up the profit that I think about what you think how that means that have more in a broader context of the city have an individual kind of neighborhood designer like your waiting that has to be sort of created.
Yeah, Anthony is asking, talking a little bit about housing authorities and how housing authorities work and referencing some of the challenges we're aware of what's happened historically in the South Bend Housing Authority. Let me just say I've met the new person who's running that. She's really terrific, so I have good help going forward. And let's not hold her accountable for something she's coming in to fix. She's doing the work of the Lord there. But what we're arguing is that if this is to be scalable, it can't be based on a single institution, from this year to that. What we're talking about is a set of cultural practices, small scale development that we can teach people in a relatively short period of time. And then they, over time, learn how to do it themselves. And so what we're really talking about here is what we would call distributed development. It's not a non-for-profit or public organization that is so responsible for a lot. It's trying to get several people in an ecosystem in many neighborhoods across each city. And then once they get going, they can actually pass it on. So I'm working with folks who are teaching their kids, they're teaching relatives, they're teaching other people they've connected. Because one of the goals, one of the things of incremental development is what we call pay it forward. It's the same thing you're doing here. I've been mentored by people in the organization. Yeah, I pay a fee. I think maybe it cost me about $1,000 over a couple of years to learn what they do. But I'm getting mentored, and I'm already mentoring other folks. I hardly know what I'm doing. As a professor, I used to be 1 or 2 chapters ahead of my students. I'm the same thing with the folks I'm mentoring right now. But in some sense, they can relate to me because I can tell them about the mistakes I've made. I can tell them about the struggles. I can tell them about curling up on the couch, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, or the fact that at midnight, I get a call from the neighbor who says some guy's ripping off the tool trailer. I'm the one that has to go and do that. And I can help them understand that and support them in doing that as well. Yes. The question is, would this be transferable to some of our smaller village jobs? Absolutely. This is not just something that can work in urban areas. That's what I'm saying, but it really can work in any area that is looking for economic development. Typically, what we do is we think somebody's going to come from outside and save us. But one of the things we recognize in small scale development, the cavalry ain't coming. That's the bad news. Or maybe that's the good news, because when they do come, a lot of times what they bring, we don't like it, and they take off, they leave it behind, they can give a crap what happens to it, as long as they walk away with their margin, right? And that margin doesn't get spent in our communities. But in even small towns, this can work because there are people there. Dowagiac is an example where they might not call small scale development. If you've gone up to Dowagiac, there's a number of people with a visionary mayor and city manager who invested in the downtown. The city basically invested in helping build the infrastructure, and then the people are sort of investing in some of the apartments above, down below, and then they're starting to move beyond that. The secret of this is what we call the PPM, right? The public-private, not-for-profit collaboration. PPMs are the secret. It's not going to all be done by the private sector. It's not all going to be done by the public sector. It's not all going to be done by not-for-profit. But when we work together and we recognize our skills, we can make huge differences, not just in this area, but in other areas. And again, Rotary recognizes that, right? Rotary might not have conceptualized this, but you guys have been doing PPN work, before we had a term. So Albion, Michigan's another place that we're seeing this happening right now. Yeah, I'm happy to hang out and talk with anybody about anything that you want to learn more about. Thank you very much.
That's good stuff. And thanks for squeezing it in there. Nicely done. Finishing today, I would like to, I found a quote from a Danish architect, Bjarke Ingels, who says, sustainability cannot be like some sort of moral sacrifice, a political dilemma, or a philanthropic cause. It has to be a design challenge. Thought that might be pretty fitting for this. And I know that you all know that design in anything that you ever do is all about solving a problem. It's what we need to do. Rotarians, go forward into the community. Thanks to our guests online, in person. Have a great week. Meeting's adjourned.